Now, before we get into the politics, I would love for everyone to thumbs up and like what you see so far. That really helps me out, okay? Oh, yes. Did you guys thumbs up and like the video? You better have, okay? Tomorrow's video, it will be on the horoscopes on the full moon. It will be on Venus and what we are going to be dealing with Venus and Sagittarius personally. But the full moon will be big. Now, today we are going to talk about the politics though. Let me pull up Miss Kamala. We'll do her first. And we are going to see now Kamala is the biggest one. Why did it go? Why did it not go to? Okay. Kamala is the biggest one here. Oops. What am I doing? Hold up. Wait a minute. I find that she's the biggest one because when we're dealing with this full moon, let me go back to the 17th. And that is what we're talking about. The full moon and how it affects these candidates here. Okay. I find that Kamala's is the biggest. And then after Kamala is Tim Walz. Now, why is Kamala's the biggest? Well, first of all, let me get exact. Actually, should I just do the full moon? That's what we'll do. We'll just take it to the full moon. Okay, if you see, the full moon is sitting on top of Kamala's full moon in Aries, and then it's sitting there opposing. You know, her birthday's coming up. Her birthday's coming up October 20th, but 2 days before the birthday, she's dealing with some emotions. Emotions, okay? Yeah, so her solar return is kind of intense, okay? With the full moon in Aries currently conjunct both her natal moon and sun. She's got a lunar return, she's got a solar return, a lot of self-expression, a lot of personal growth, a lot of culmination and emotional cycles. Ooh, I should say on her birthday what her chart of the year is going to be. So we'll discuss that in maybe a TikTok. I don't do TikTok, but it'll be on here, okay? But there's conflict between her being independent versus her partnership within maybe her home or maybe her safety net. I'm thinking this is something dealing with Tim. This is something dealing with Tim. This is her and herself in a party, right? And now she's trying to express herself, but I mean, this could be a romantic relationship. Okay. I'll put that out there so you can understand what astrology represents. But I'm thinking this represents Tim Watts. So that's why I went over to Tim Watts' chart. Okay. But this is could be potential for a family or domestic conflict within America because she is the VP, and this could be representing something as her job as a vice president because Libra is dealing with a partnership or some sort. But there could be some transformation here because you are dealing with these two planets that are also squaring her sun and her moon. It's not good for her. You're talking about her finances, not getting along with her emotions and her ego. And there's something with power here, double power with the restrictions of the government that is not quite getting along and challenging with her emotions of self and how she is and doing something new and starting something new again with her partnership or her team or her or her being a female. Okay. There's amplified emotional awareness or reflection. She's reevaluating maybe her personal identity or her personal goals. She is got to let something go for a completion, just like we have to do as a collective. Strengthening. Oh, actually, I always forget to put who we talking about. Who are we talking about, Willis? Strengthening her personal boundaries and independence, balancing self-expression and relationship dynamics, embracing new beginnings with passion. Now, because we're dealing with this in her 7th house, right? And her 7th house. Oh, wait, no, before I talk about that in the 7th house, let me see. Do I have any extra notes? Okay, no, before I talk about Venus, I do want to say that this Pluto is challenging not only her sun, but also Mercury and how she thinks and expresses herself, right? There is some type of restriction here. The 8th house is dealing with joint ventures, joint money, taxes, loans. Just want you to know all of it that it's representing. There is something that is being restricted here that is dealing with power and obsession, could be dealing with something that's taboo, and it is restricting and it's causing a challenge. Now, I wouldn't say restricting, but this is what represents. Could be the government, and it's causing a challenge with her leadership. I mean, her partnership, and that makes me think it's Tim Walz. And she's like, "Oh, I need some healing with myself." Be with myself, and constant relationships and networking is a major thing for her, just so you know. And she has this south node here, and the south node needs to be released with relationships. She needs to release this theme of Libra. It needs to be constantly dealing with partnerships and relationships. Anyway, but Venus is going to enter that seventh house. So this is what makes me think that this is something dealing with her partnership. This is dealing with Tim Watts, because Venus is going to enter here, and now it's going to be all about the expansion and the honesty about her partnership. Now, this also could be dealing with Trump, just so you know. Enhance public appeal when Venus enters her seventh house. She's strengthening her alliance, or there is a focus on her alliance. The support of her partnership could be bigger from whatever this challenge is for this Aries full moon. It could be bigger, or maybe her support for her enemy, which is Trump, could be bigger. Okay. What else? Positive media, public relationships, public relations by Cash. Opportunities to address relationships or her partnerships or her VP or her team could be happening here. Now, maybe she's over reliant. Maybe there is like the popularity, maybe it's too much. That could be happening. Okay. Popularity or a tendency to seek approval may be causing some issues, and is very superficial. Or people pleasing could be big when Venus enters the seventh house. Okay. Over promising, that could be happening, and people are like, let's be honest. Well, that's the song. Unless to be honest, I don't know the song. Anyway, but that could be happening. Inconsistency and impulsive decision making, because that Venus is like, I can't decide, I can't decide, I can't decide. Back and forth. Struggles with commitment and responsibility. Possible misunderstandings in a public persona. Issues with her VP and our support for Trump. I just see support for Trump here when Venus enters there, just so you know. Okay. Now, Venus is going to come and it's going to conjunct the South Node. When you have it conjunct the South Node, there is a releasing of a partner, a releasing of something. Okay. I said releasing of a partner. It could be letting go of Tim, or it could be a passing of a Trump. Just so you know, okay? Maybe it's revisiting a past alliance or a past relationship. Maybe it's releasing outdated values or partnerships or beliefs. Maybe it's challenging around comfort zones, because the South Node is what you're comfortable with, and she's comfortable with partnerships, okay? But it needs to be released, or something that she's familiar, and it's dealing with Sagittarius. So releasing maybe her being a lawyer, that could be a thing. But it relies on what is familiar. The support is going to be like, oh, let's really rely on this. So conjunctions are good or bad or both, and but what I do know is that they're strong. So maybe falling back into old habits when it comes to law, because Sagittarius is all about law expansion and big things. Okay. Potential for past themes reappearing in a public could be happening too. Okay. But she could be reevaluating, she could be restructuring. That is what we have. Now let me go for Tim. And I do know, I just want to say quickly that in the current news, okay, we do have rumors, the streets are speaking, okay? And when I say the news, we're talking about X, okay? In the streets, we got that the people are saying that Tim is has some sexual allegations that are happening. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just letting you know what the streets are saying. And someone came out and said this. It hasn't been proven, but this makes me think that this could be related to that. Now we have this full moon in Aries with Tim Watts here. We don't have a time for Tim, okay? So things are not as fun, just so you know, okay? But with Tim Watts, it could be a boost of confidence. He could be very charismatic. When you have this Aries energy sitting on top of that Jupiter, Jupiter is very positive. So he could be feeling good, or he could be overly emotional, or things from his past that are new are starting up to come up again. Okay. That is what this all represents. And there needs to be some healing. Remember, this is something repeated. Okay. But yet something new, but something needs to end. Okay. Now 24 does represent the secrets. Remember, I said the full moon is 24 degrees, Pisces degree, that could represent some secrets. Expansion of new goals, increased visibility and public support, emphasis on integrity and authenticity. Yeah, what else do we have? He could be overconfident, could be very impulsive. He could be exaggerating something, struggle with boundaries, increased risk of controversy is definitely what you get with this, right? Because he's got the blunt statements, he's got the honesty that could be coming out. Something with law could be big happening with this, just so you know, with this full moon. Remember, it's squaring Mars, and Mars is dealing with the past. So something from his past. This could be something that is sexual. It could very much be that. And then you have Pluto sitting on top of his moon. Okay. So let's get with that, because he could be relying on luck too much. And that's what that Jupiter represents. And now it's like, no, 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 no. You've been relying on that too much. Now we are going to move on. Maybe there is a delayed in gratification that could be happening, or delayed in something, or maybe he's been arrogant. But when you have that Pluto aspect, it's going to be cause the mystery, the dirtiness, the darkness to come out into the light. Okay, something that he values. Increased pressure of emotional stress, conflict between his individuality and a public perception could be coming out, because the moon is who you are deep down. And now Pluto is like, no, 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 we're gonna bring it out. Okay. He could be rigid, or maybe there's a resistance of something, and the Pluto's like, no, it's got to change. Okay. Just be aware that challenges between his personal life and his public duties, learning to integrate independence and accountability, all that could be happening. Pluto conjunct oh wait, what was that I was explaining? Yeah, his moon. Oh, I was saying how Aries is squaring the moon. Now, Pluto on top of the moon is going to have some type of transformation, some type of change, some type of control, some type of power over what he has secretly deep-seated fears could be happening, or his insecurities. This is very pessimistic. This is also very I care about my image, all that kind of energy. And Pluto's like, oh no, no, we're gonna bring that out. Okay. Yeah, so just be aware of that. The privacy and solitude. Pluto is like, no, let's get the darkness. Let's bring it out to the light. Okay. Just so you know. And Mars sitting there opposing that is going to be aggressive, and it's going to bring stuff from the past. Just so you know that. Okay. That is what we have for Tim. Let's see how that plays out for him. Let's pull, you know what? Let me pull a card for them. Let's pull a card for first. Ooh, Kamala. Cards for Kamala. She needs to not say anything. Don't speak up, Kamala. This is for Kamala. Oh, let me pull this here. Let me, so you guys can see it in full. Kamala should not say anything. Don't say anything. I feel like you guys, hold on. Let me. It's too bright. Now the light. Can you see it better? Yeah, I think so. This is the Four of Swords. Okay, Four of Swords is saying, rest your tongue. Okay, there's new messages coming, and this could be from a young person coming your way, and things are going to be moving fast. Okay, now for Tim, we'll pull 3 cards for Tim too. For Tim, we have his community and stability here. There is a celebration of some sort, but that does represent stability. But here we have something that we can't see. Okay, the truth and the lie is what we have here. 2 stories, and the stability with 2 stories, just the community with 2 stories, and in regards to a family, in regards to relationships, in regards to blissfulness. Okay. Let me pull, because I want an oracle card too. Higher self, him being his higher self, him being his higher self. I feel like something's going to come to the light here. We'll see. I mean, they keep saying that, what's her name? Because this says higher self, like you know what? Let me read it. 43. Let me read it. 43 for Tim Walz. Okay. You are now locking in your higher version, higher self. The universe is waiting to create through you. Being your true self, there is a new cycle, there is a new you. That is what that card represents. So let's see what this newness is, which is very Aries new moon, full moon. Yeah, anyway, okay, but let's talk about Trump. That is what we have for Kamala. Kamala and them, it doesn't look that good, just so you know. Okay. For Kamala and Walz, it's not the best, just so you know. Okay. Now for Trump, we have something interesting for him too. Trump, this full moon in Aries. Do I still have this full moon here? Now, the full moon is not touching anything in his chart, right? We do have the sun sitting here kind of close to Jupiter, but what is really going on is that this Mars in Cancer is sitting on top of here. So this full moon is squaring some limitations and some secret support or secret relationship or secret lover, okay, that we cannot quite see. The 12th house represents secrets and things we cannot see. I just want you to understand. So this full moon happening in that 12th house could be struggles with emotional vulnerability or some kind of control. Are there some hidden challenges or public image hidden challenges? I know I said public, but it's something because he's running for president, but we cannot see it, or there is a secret. This also can represent some secret enemies too. Challenges with balancing himself and the independence and responsibilities, because Saturn represents responsibilities, structures, limitations, a very pessimistic kind of energy. Potential for frustrations or delays in his campaign could be happening during this full moon. Public scrutiny and concerns over him being transparent, because you have that 12th house matters, and it's like you're being too secretive. That could be happening. Heightened very emotional sensitivity with that 12th house, or a lot of pressure with that 12th house, or repressed anger or frustration could be happening because you have that 12th house energy. But there is something here with Mars in Cancer, or something with the people who keep trying to shoot him. I mean, I think they said it was a third attempt. I don't know. I didn't research that. We'll get into that tomorrow. But this is on top of some delays or restrictions for him in regards to his emotional self or something new with himself, and his partner VP, who is a great communicator and keeps talking, right? So that is what you have. Now, Mars in Cancer conjunct his Saturn is intensified emotional tension, some power struggles, challenges with authority, challenges with the government, restriction again, repress, restriction, frustration. All that's happening, some deep-seated fears and insecurities, obstacles. Saturn can represent obstacles. So there's obstacles, and it's causing him to be emotional. Potential for aggression and reactive behavior. I mean, he's got major Leo energy anyway, so that's nothing new. But changes in his relationship or personal life could be happening, because you do have that Pluto aspect here, and Pluto is also opposing. Now, remember, I keep saying something with his help. Something with his health could be a secret and giving him some limitations here. And he's being really aggressive about it, and this could be a health issue from his past. I'm just telling you that's what this all could represent. Now let me just tell you what JD is, and then I'll pull a card for both of them. Now JD, we do have a time, and for JD, wasn't that fun, the full moon? That's why I'm saying this full moon is either personally affecting Trump alone, and the full moon also really, really affecting Tim Walz and really affecting Kamala. Okay, so for sure. Now the full moon is opposing his Pluto in Libra, and that full moon in Libra, I mean, that full moon opposing your emotions and your ego with some power struggles that could be happening. Maybe with Trump, maybe he is, because this represents his partner, okay, his leader. That could be not his leader, but his partnership, VP, president. That could be representing that, and there is some restriction here, and he finds value in his partnerships. Okay, just so you know. But whatever it is causing some tug of war of emotions. Okay. Yeah. Or something from the past dealing with himself, and he needs some healing. And this is all about power. Okay. Now he's got this North Node here in Aries in that 8th house. So he needs to, in his lifetime, get some power, not in his lifetime, within his year, gain some power. He's doing what he's doing. Yeah. Anyway, but transformation could be happening. This also could represent a death of your partner. That could be happening here. Yeah, that is what he, if he values Trump, This could be like a death, a rebirth of a leader or something like that. Not a leader, but a partner. Power struggles with his emotions. There could be some legal partnership or relationship issues here too. That's pretty much most of it. He does have some aggression towards this transformation within his political party. Or maybe the political, because the 11th house could represent Republicans. So not Republicans, Democrats, because they're currently in charge of the 11th house. That could be happening here. Here we have the transformation in this 5th house of his self-expression or him being a leader. All that is challenging this planet here, which represents something that he values, the power that he values. Okay. Not as strong, but it's still going to affect him, just not affect him, hitting as many planets as it's hitting Kamala and as it's hitting Tim Watts. Tim Watts is really going through it with this full moon, just so you guys know. Let me pull cards for Mr. Trump here, since I pulled 3. And then we'll do JD Vance too. Okay, so he's feeling insecure. Okay, Trump is feeling insecure. There's a duality here that he has to balance. Maybe it's something that we can't see. Maybe it's something that we can't know. And yeah, but there's a insecurity with a choice. Maybe his choice is JD Vance. But whatever it is giving Cancer energy. Mars is in charge of Cancer. It's giving Cancer energy. Also, the moon is in charge of our Mars right now. So emotions are very strong. This is the Chariot card. It represents our emotions. It represents moving forward. So there's this back and forth he has going on with moving forward. I don't know what it is. It's 12th house energy. We can't quite see it. But there is some type of insecurity there. Now, if we deal with JD Vance here, which I don't think we have that much going on with JD Vance. JD Vance is, he's moving forward. He has no problems moving forward and expanding and starting a new adventure. He is basking in some glorious energy here. This is the Empress. This is also dealing with Libra. It's dealing with Venus. So partnerships. He's moving forward with partnerships, and he is still out here saying his speeches. Okay, he doesn't seem affected at all. He's out here researching, saying his truth. All that's going on, and so that is what I have for our presidents and our political things and the current events. Actually, I will do the horoscopes tomorrow, and I will do current events tomorrow. Then I've already videotaped my elections, the results for the elections, what I have predictions. That's already videotaped. I just have to edit it and put it out there. I might do that tonight. Okay. So look forward to that. If you want to know who's going to win, my predictions are Kamala, even though we have this full moon going on, which I knew would affect in a big deal. But yeah, that's what we have. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for the horoscopes. See you tomorrow. Bye.